we know CY, he's talked to us about it. He's been very outspoken in a lot of the audio we've played this offseason about wanting to get the offense back to where they were in 2023. There was some regression with guys that didn't play necessarily as well as they had hoped. Guys like Adolis Garcia, you had the injury to Josh Young. Corey was banged up throughout the year. Simeon obviously had a down season. They bring in Jake Berger, who they're pumped about. They bring in Jock Peterson, who they're excited about, and guys that can rake when it comes to the fastball. But what is CY's feeling on pitching currently?
On the pitching side, we lost some key members to our bullpen. So really upgrading our bullpen and improving our bullpen, both at, really the leverage spots and kind of the middle innings and the floor of our bullpen has been an objective. And we've had a number of signings that we think have improved our bullpen and put us in a better spot. We're still open-minded in terms of improving our bullpen and finding the right leverage arms to kind of help us close out games. And then on the starting pitching front, we feel pretty good about our starting pitching with a healthy Jacob deGrom. We were able to bring back Nathan Eovaldi, who has been such an instrumental piece of our success here and such a wonderful person and teammate, somebody who really embodies our values, and we're thrilled that he's back. And then a healthy Tyler Malley, Cody Bradford, a young starting pitcher. And then, we have John Gray, Kamar Rocker, and Jack Leiter. And we feel like we've got pretty good depth in our starting pitching. So overall, we feel good. I think one of the things I've learned is I never feel great about things, that I'm constantly looking to find ways to improve or upgrade. But nonetheless, we feel really good about the work that we've done and where we sit at this point. That said, we know that going into spring and into the season, we'll constantly look for ways to improve.
That's one thing about CY that you got to love and is a polar opposite to all the conversations we have on a daily basis about how it operates over there at the Star in Frisco. You don't have a doubt that CY would even be staying up late at night thinking, how in the hell can I make this team better? He had a quote from this interview there with Foul Territory. He said, we've created more competition on our roster. I think we've got an overall deeper roster than what we had going into the spring. I want to give him the best possible roster, as in Boats, to let him go work his magic. He admitted he didn't do a good enough job last year. He didn't think he gave his team a good enough roster. He takes accountability, and he's working every single day. If he sees a weakness, how can I upgrade that weakness? Because of their actions, every single Cowboy fan has to second guess and question, is that going on with the guys that are running and operating things over there in Frisco? I want to be able to argue it and say, yes, I can't do it anymore. I can't fall on the sword as a diehard Cowboy fan. I don't believe it, but I sure as hell believe it when it comes to Chris Young and where the Rangers are at.
Yeah, you have to have the stomach and the work ethic to, really want to and feel driven to turn over every leaf every single day looking for an opportunity to get better. And I feel like the Cowboys just kind of have it on autopilot. They let the deals come to them. They let the deadlines make the deals. And, there's an untold amount of opportunity that I don't feel like they're harvesting because they've made it. I don't feel like they're desperately hungry for the next championship like Chris Young is and like so many others that ultimately win it are. Like the Joneses are more close to a Robert Kraft skill set when it comes. But the great thing about Kraft is he let football people handle it, and if you want to go enjoy the spoils of being a billionaire, go do it. Just don't have the title or the decision-making power that the Cowboys did. If they could just check in like once every 90 days for an update from an actual football guy and sort of weigh in on stuff, that would be ideal. And until then, I don't expect this trend to reverse, Wolchuk.
I don't either. And it's a sad state to be in as a Cowboy fan, but it's a great state to be in as a Ranger fan because you got a guy that is not going to leave any stone unturned. And, in fact, if they see that there's a player they want, CY on how aggressive they are on pursuing said players.
I subscribe to kind of the theory you just described, which is when we want a player, we're very aggressive in trying to pursue that player. And we try to put our best foot forward and make the best offer possible, and sometimes that's good enough, and sometimes it's not. And but nonetheless, there's not a whole lot of games that we go through. It's certainly very straightforward in terms of our approach to free agency. But I think the key is just identifying the right player that we want, and then sometimes there is a timing to the market that the player isn't ready, or he's still receiving offers, or maybe we're not ready. We're still feeling out the market. So. There is a little give and take with it, but nonetheless, when we want someone, we try to be aggressive and really pursue pretty hard.
The job they've done this offseason is outstanding. Obviously, and he just spoke about we could use one more high leverage arm. Probably they're looking for an actual closer, but I mean, you look at what they've done with the relievers they've added and Berger and Peterson, the guys they're getting healthy and bringing back Eovaldi. I mean, this has been more than I would have expected and nearly as much as you could possibly ask for.
It's been incredible, and really listening to him, I don't know that there's a guy that they've really wanted that they haven't been able to get. Eovaldi had a lot of interest from some other really good organizations and clubs, with Atlanta, with Baltimore. He decided he wanted to come back. Eric, you mentioned Chris Martin taking less because he wanted to come back to the Rangers. He was in Boston. He was with a storied organization, with the Red Sox that are trying to get back to the World Series. He sees what's going on in Texas. Yeah, he's a Texas kid, but these dudes at the end of their career want to win rings. They believe they can do it here. A big part of that is CY1, as he said, making the best offer possible, not lowballing, but also identifying the right type of guys to bring in here. But those players also see, man, Texas, what they got cooking, that's something I want to be a part of.
Yeah, even with a guy like Roki Sasaki having the Rangers in and amongst the finalists for teams that he might be willing to play for. He's got every reason to want to play for the Dodgers or the Padres, and more than likely that's what ends up happening with him. But still, just the idea that he's got Texas in his final 3 or 4 whatever teams, it just shows like what they're building, and guys do want to be here.
It's a great sign, the fact that Eovaldi came back and you got those other dudes. I think, that same sort of momentum they had when Boch took the gig, and suddenly everybody was looking at this as a real legitimate contender. I feel that energy back as, spring training now right around the corner.